Megan Hines from Art History and Criticism will talk about the art of biotechnology, seeing the biotech revolution through the eyes of artists.
If you could edit your DNA, what would you change? What about other people's or other organisms? Since the 1970s and 80s, when advances in genetic engineering produced the biotech industry, society has been wrestling with these questions from ethical, legal, ecological, and economic perspectives. As an art historian, I wanted to see how these issues played out in the visual sphere. I knew that for the last 20 years or so, artists had been collaborating with scientists in biotech labs, creating what's called bioart. My dissertation asks how artists responded to and critiqued biotech before they had access to labs and scientists that they could collaborate with. I decided to focus on artists working from the 1960s through the 80s in the San Francisco Bay Area, a hotspot for artistic innovation and biotech research. I studied artworks directly, visiting museums, artist studios, and archives. I also looked at the visual culture that was developing around biotech, looking at images circulating in newspapers, the countercultural press, art journals, and science journals. I discovered two things. First, artists, without ever having set foot in a biotech lab, were absorbing and responding to biotech's visual culture. Images that were meant not only to inform, but to entertain, to frighten, and with the advent of the biotech industry, to sell. As seen in this image, artists subverted these messages, often with humor and fantasy, to reveal the power that images have on perceptions of biotech's relative harms or benefits. Second, images of the double helix structure, glass beakers, and petri dishes, often seen in bioart, were absent from the artworks that I looked at. Instead, these artists worked through metaphor and turned to technologies that they had at hand, like video cameras, audio recording technologies, and some of the earliest personal computers. Through this DIY aesthetic, artists asserted the power of art to create knowledge about science without using its processes. As biotech's purview extends around the globe, these early artworks provide a model for anyone to critically engage with cutting-edge scientific research. Thank you.